Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to Unexplored Skyrim. Today we're going to be checking out Morvunskar, which is a kind of medium-sized fortress, and Morvunskar might be one of my favorite areas in all of Skyrim, and you might be asking, wait, why is that, Otter? It's just another boring old copy-and-paste fort. Well, my answer to that is not quite. It's actually home to one of my favorite quests in the entire game, A Night to Remember. Now, A Night to Remember isn't started at Morvunskar, but it ends here, which makes the location special. Now, in order to start A Night to Remember, you first need to be at level 14. Once at level 14, you will eventually encounter a man by the name of Sanguine, and he will spawn in any random tavern in Skyrim. Usually, the one that he spawns in will be the closest one that you reach level 14 at. So for example, I reached level 14 near Whiterun, therefore he spawns in the Bannered Mare inside of Whiterun. And here's the location of Morvunskar on the map, just southwest of Windhelm. Pretty easy to get to from Windhelm, even though I haven't discovered Windhelm at this point on this playthrough. Now, as we can see here, we are now in Whiterun, and we're going to the Bannered Mare in order to talk to our good friend Sam. And Sam will just be sitting at the bar, having himself a nice piece of bread, and drinking maybe some wine or ale, who knows what. But if we talk to him, he will challenge us to a drinking contest. So we'll say we accept your challenge, and he says that he has a special brew. After a few drinks, he will say, hey, I think you're going to win. Just one more drink, and we win. So we'll take that last drink, but then he says, hey, you don't look so good. The screen goes black, and we wake up in Markarr. Specifically, we wake up at the Temple of Dibella. And according to Sena here, who's kind of like a priest, apparently we trashed the place. We had some kind of party here, you and Sam, and, well, there's all kinds of trash about. So we have to go around and collect the items that we littered, or we can persuade her, or we can pay a fine for the damages. But it's much easier just to go around and pick up all of the junk, and then go back, and she'll pretty much forgive us for our small transgression, breaking into her temple and trashing the place. Very kind soul, I have to say. After this, she gives us a hint that we came from Rorikstead, and if we talk to Ennis here, he tells us that apparently we stole his goat and sold it to a giant, which is really bizarre. So once again, we can either pay a fine for the damages, or we can go recover poor Ennis's goat. I chose to go rescue his goat from the giant. Now, if you can't tell, this quest is kind of like Skyrim's version of The Hangover. Obviously, Sam got us very drunk, and we went on some kind of epic and unbelievable adventure across Skyrim, and it's just so unfortunate we cannot remember it. After that, I headed up to the giant, whose name is Grok. Hope Elon Musk isn't mad about that one. But anyways, we go ahead and kill Grok, and we will take Ennis's goat back. There was also a dragon just flying around in the background, just kind of watching me do stuff. Anyways, here's the goat, and then you just run back to Ennis, and the goat kind of follows you, or you can just run back as fast as you can, and then wait, and the goat will magically appear like so. After that, we give Ennis back his goat, and he's like, oh, happy day. He's kind of interesting character, but anyways, he then tells us that he doesn't know much else, except that we were talking about a certain Ysolda back in Whiterun. And apparently we bought a wedding ring from Ysolda, and that we owe her a lot of money. So our next stop is back to Whiterun, where we talk to Ysolda, and, well, she seems a little bit irritated by our actions. She seems kind of impatient, and upon talking to her, we find out that we did purchase a wedding ring from her for a very, very expensive amount of money. 2,000 gold, to be exact. I have no clue what ring in Skyrim is worth 2,000 gold. Anyways, after that, she'll tell us that our fiancé is apparently at Misty Grove. And this grove is just east of Morvunskar, obviously the fort. And here we can find a Haugraven named Moira, and apparently this is our fiancé. This is who we are supposed to marry. But we tell her that we don't want to get married, and then she mentions someone by the name of Esmeralda, and that she won't let Esmeralda take us away from her, so she's going to elect to kill us, but not before we kill her first. Obviously don't know who that Esmeralda is, don't really care, but we get the wedding ring back, and we go back to Ysolda. And she has some very important information for us.
Excellent. Sorry it didn't work out. I know how excited you were for the wedding. You kept saying it would be a huge ceremony at Morvunskar. You said you even had some magic staff that would handle all of the guests.
So after that, we can head to Morvunskar, and she also mentions a staff that we will find later in the quest. A pretty cool staff, if I do say so myself. Now, as I approached Morvunskar, there's a very interesting trap here, and I had a very funny sequence of events as all of these mages ran into the trap, which was activated and continuously activated by the dead body of the first mage I killed. So they all just kind of walked right into the fire, they walked into my arrow, and yeah, I was able to kill them pretty effortlessly, so that was very kind of them. Now, this initial fight might normally be a bit difficult because there's so many mages, but for me it was pretty easy. Here's the dead mage on top of the trap, or on top of the pressure plate. Just pulled off his or her dead body, and the flame stopped. Pretty easy. After that, you can head up to the main section of the fort, but truthfully, there's not a whole lot out here. There is a treasure chest, along with random food and other loot scattered around on tables. There was also another mage up on top here, but not too much. After that, we can enter Morvunskar, and if you're quiet, we can hear a very interesting conversation.
All day and night, and what do I do?
You
I
work the
work
forge.
Why do they need me to do this? We use magic, weapons. I swear, they're making me do this for a laugh. At least I'm not dealing with prisoners down below.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about what goes on down there.
I bet Naris gets a kick out of it. Nasty fella he is.
You'd better quiet down before you end up there. Then I'd have to work the forge.
After that, I unleashed a surprise attack on these poor mages, but we can see that for some reason, one of them is being forced to make weapons or to work the forge. Don't know why, perhaps they're selling them, who knows. But next to it we can find a table, and there's a book on the table which will increase your smithing skill. Pretty good. Also on this floor there's like a kitchen with like a tanning rack, but really nothing much in here besides food. And then we can make our way deeper into the fortress. Now, as we go further in, there will be some pretty powerful mages, so do be a bit careful. On the table to the left here, we find some bottles of wine and some gold, so make sure to take the gold and the wine for a good time. Then we can kind of come into this large central chamber, and this is where we can find our dear friend Sam. However, we're going to want to first kill all of the mages. Now, the storm mage in here, or the storm wizard, actually gave me a lot of trouble. He actually killed me once. I just cut it so you don't have to see me failing. But do be a little bit cautious in how you approach this fight. After this, there's this kind of like part underneath the staircase, and there's two chests at the end, a strong box and a chest to be exact, and this will just contain random leveled loot, so definitely make sure you come in here and see what you can get. After that, like I said, there's like a staircase, and if you go up the staircase, we can continue the quest, A Night to Remember. A portal will open up next to this throne. It looks like kind of like a throne. And if we step into the portal, we will be teleported to Misty Grove. And at Misty Grove, we have some very nice music playing, and it's a very beautiful place. The lighting is beautiful. There's a nice little creek. And then if we follow the path, we find a nice dinner party and our good friend Sam. However, well, maybe for the better or for the worse, we quickly learn that our good friend Sam is not our good friend. He's actually the Daedric Prince, Sanguine.
Oh, the Hagraven feather and so on. You can throw all those out. You see, I really just needed something to encourage you to go out into the world and spread merriment. I am Sanguine, Daedric Prince of Debauchery.
So it's actually our good friend Sanguine. Anyways, this is a very amazing quest that ends in a pretty awesome finale, at least in my opinion. We also get a pretty epic staff that is a pretty decent weapon, especially early on in the game. Also, interestingly enough, followers can wield and employ the Sanguine Rose as well. Also, unlike in Oblivion, the Dremora will always fight on the side of the Dragonborn. Apparently, in Oblivion, there was a chance that they wouldn't. And after that, we will finish the quest, A Night to Remember, and we'll be teleported back to the tavern, which we started the quest in, wherever that might be. But I wanted to continue exploring Morvunskar because we're not done yet. Now, there is this large chest in this room that will contain random leveled loot right next to where that portal is. Also, interestingly, Sanguine will sometimes spawn back in the fortress. The first time I came back, he wasn't here. I waited a few days, came back, and he was here. Not sure what causes him to be here, but he doesn't have any special dialogue. He just has some very generic things to say, which is kind of unfortunate. As we move on to the next part of the fortress, we'll just find more mages, and fun fact, Sanguine will actually fight these mages if you lure them out towards him, and of course he's in that main central area. Now, as we move forward, we actually find a very disturbing scene. Earlier, when we listened to the mages that were working the forge, we heard them talking about that it's better than at least working with the prisoners, and that Naris is doing something very terrible to them. If we pick the lock and we're quiet, we can find out what.
Ah, the sweet smell of burnt flesh. Nothing better, really. They die too quickly. Maybe I'll try and hold off on the paralysis next time. Give me more of a moving target. Good practice.
So we learned that Naris here definitely earned the name Naris the Wicked. He is very wicked indeed, obviously torturing prisoners as they burn to death. Now, on his dead body, there'll be random loot. There's also a chest next to the prison we can loot, and there's also a book which will increase our destruction skill. So, all in all, pretty good loot. And then inside, we can see the walls covered in blood, along with 5 burnt corpses. There's a lever over here by this cage, which will open the prison, and then we can come loot the corpses, but the only thing they ever really have is gold. After that, I wanted to point out there is a small, bedroom with random books and stuff, and it also has an enchanting table inside of it, but there's really nothing in here, but just thought I'd point it out. After that, there's a very large staircase, and this leads us to the exit, the quick exit. That door is normally blocked. Obviously, I had just opened it before I recorded it. And outside, we can just admire the view of Windhelm and some of the surrounding area. When it's not snowing, it is very beautiful indeed. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching. I really enjoyed making this video because A Night to Remember is one of my favorite quests in the game. I just find it very humorous, very fun, and there's all kinds of unexpected turns that it takes. Let me know what you guys think of the quest. I hope you guys were able to learn something during this video. It's kind of the point of these videos, to explore and go to places and hopefully share things that are new to many people. If you guys have any recommendations for future locations, future ideas, future videos, please post them in the comment section below. And as always, until next time.